Have you ever walked through a place so old it feels like the ground itself is holding its breath? A place where the modern world peels away after dark, leaving you with something ancient and unsettling. Tonight, we're going to London, to a place that looks like an ordinary, peaceful park. But Lincoln's Inn Fields has a memory, and it's soaked in terror. By day, it's a beautiful green space, the largest public square in London. People have picnics, they walk their dogs, they chat on benches. But when night falls, and the city's hum fades to a whisper, a different story emerges. The air grows thick, the shadows seem to stretch and deepen, and a silence descends that feels heavy, watchful. This isn't just your imagination. You're standing on ground that was once a stage for public death. Long before it was a park, this was a place of execution. Crowds would gather here, not to mourn, but for the horrifying spectacle of seeing a human being destroyed in the most brutal way imaginable. And some say, the echoes of that suffering never left. Our story takes us back to 1586, to a dark chapter in English history known as the Babington Plot. A group of men conspired to assassinate Queen Elizabeth I and put Mary, Queen of Scots, on the throne. The plot was discovered, and the conspirators were arrested, tried, and condemned for high treason. The punishment for treason was not a quick or merciful death. It was designed to be a public lesson, a display of power so horrific it would be burned into the memory of anyone who witnessed it. And the stage for this lesson was Lincoln's Inn Fields. The conspirators were brought here, one by one. I won't go into the gruesome details of their end, but what happened was a spectacle of state-sanctioned savagery. The screams that tore through the air that day were said to be so filled with agony that they silenced the jeering crowd. They were cries of pure, primal terror echoing across the open field as men were systematically dismantled. Legend says those screams never truly faded. They seeped into the soil, got tangled in the branches of the ancient trees, and became a permanent part of the atmosphere. Fast forward to today. For centuries, people who find themselves in Lincoln's Inn Fields after dark have reported experiences they can't explain. It often starts with a sudden, overwhelming feeling of dread, a gut-wrenching sense that you are not welcome here, that you need to leave, now. It is a feeling that comes out of nowhere and is so powerful that many people simply turn and walk away as fast as they can, without even knowing why. Then come the sounds. Residents living in the grand old buildings that line the square, late-night dog walkers, and even skeptical tourists have all told similar stories. They hear things, faint at first, then closer, distant wailing on the wind, with no discernible source. A sudden, sharp cry that cuts off mid-breath, as if someone's terror was abruptly silenced. The sound of chains rattling nearby, or footsteps running on the grass right behind you. But when you spin around, there's no one there. Absolutely no one. These aren't full-blown apparitions. You don't see ghosts reenacting the executions. It's more subtle, and in many ways, more terrifying. The haunting of Lincoln's Inn Fields is almost purely auditory. It's as if the events of 1586 were recorded into the very fabric of the place. And at night, when the world is quiet, fragments of that recording play back. You might hear strained, panicked breathing just over your shoulder, or a muffled voice, seeming to beg for mercy from the darkness. It's a sensory ghost story, where the horror replays, not for your eyes, but for your ears. Skeptics will tell you it's the wind in the trees, or the strange acoustics of the square, or simply an overactive imagination fueled by old stories. And maybe they're right. But even the most hardened non-believers often admit there's something unsettling about this place after midnight. The atmosphere feels wrong. The quiet isn't peaceful, it's predatory. It feels like the ground itself is listening, waiting. Think about it. The sheer emotional energy unleashed in that field, the terror, the pain, the despair of those men in their final moments was immense. Stone tape theory suggests that intense emotional events can be imprinted onto a physical location, like a recording. Could the soil and stones of Lincoln's Inn Fields be holding on to that energy, replaying the sounds of that day over and over again for anyone sensitive enough to hear it? Next time you're in London, maybe you'll find yourself walking past Lincoln's Inn Fields as dusk settles. You'll see the lights of the city glinting through the trees, and hear the distant traffic. It will look perfectly normal. But pause for a moment by the iron railings. Listen. Don't just listen with your ears. Listen with your gut. Feel the air. Does it suddenly feel colder? Does the silence feel heavier? If the wind blows just right, you might hear more than just rustling leaves. You might hear an echo from 400 years ago, an echo of men who died screaming, their final moments of terror forever bound to the place where their lives were so brutally ended, their cries now a permanent, chilling whisper in the heart of London. So, is Lincoln's Inn Fields just a historic park? Or is it a place forever cursed by the sounds of its own bloody past? A place where the dead don't walk, but they still scream. Perhaps some questions are best left unanswered, especially after dark. Thanks for joining me on this journey into one of London's most haunted spots. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the world's most mysterious places. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced anything like this. Stay curious and stay safe.